Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more fighting. Now, I'm watching UFC 208, getting ready for the main event. I want to give my post-fight thoughts on Anderson Silva versus Derek Brunson. And Anderson Silva won a unanimous decision. I want to give my thoughts. Now, the fight was a little bit different. I expected a little bit more of a definitive winner. I think I had Anderson Silva winning. I maybe have to watch it again, but I wouldn't have been mad if Brunson won the fight, if he was announced the winner. I don't think it was a unanimous decision win for either guy, because I don't think either guy did enough to strongly cement, like, man, this was my fight. Like, I watched Cody Garbrandt versus Cruz. Cody clearly won. There's no way you could say anything different. So it wasn't that type of landslide victory where you could just say this person unequivocally, without a shadow of any doubt, won. Now, the reason I don't feel bad for Brunson is because he, being the younger fighter, he should have done some things different. I thought he was far too patient, far too timid, and it was like he was fighting his dad or something. Or you guys ever seen the movie with Tom Hardy, Warriors, the UFC MMA movie? Or not UFC, but MMA movie, and they're brothers, and it's like he didn't want to fight, didn't want to hurt Anderson Silva. But this is a combat sport, so if you don't do enough, you leave it up to interpretation. So for that reason, I thought the younger person, I was doing live tweets as this was going on, I thought the younger fighter, Anderson Silva, he still shows some of the showmanship and shades of the fighter that he once was, but he is not the same in prime Anderson Silva. I don't really think anyone's disputing that. Those Chris Weidman losses, that put some mileage on him. Plus one was an injury where he snapped his leg in gruesome fashion. One of the worst sports injuries we've seen in the past decade, right? The Michael Bisping fight was tough, despite if you had him winning or whatever. So, I mean, Anderson Silva, most people would honestly say he's not in his prime. He's a 41-year-old, and I tweeted this. As the younger fighter and a strong fighter who's getting finishes, you got to make him feel the pain. And I don't think Derek Brunson did that. So let me go through some of the rounds. Round one, for the very first minute and change, neither fighter did anything. There were literally no punches being thrown. It was just a bunch of posturing and feinting like you're going to come in, but there were no punches being thrown, right? And I understand you got to feel someone out, try to find your range, and you don't want to... Anderson is crafty. You don't want to mess up and get kneed in the face or like Bisping or anything like that. But okay, beyond that, once you start getting into the rhythm, most fighters, once you break the ice and that awkward, you know what I mean, first date, if you will, where no one's throwing any punches, then it should be you should get into your game plan. So the first minute and change, neither fighter was even throwing, and I don't think that's a good thing for the younger fighter to not impose his will, his youth, his strength on a fighter like Anderson Silva. Yes, you have to be careful because Anderson Silva, he's very skilled, he's crafty, but the reality of it, he's 41 years old, right? So, I mean, it's sink or swim, and like I said, when you leave it up to interpretation, then you might not get the nod, which Brunson didn't. So, I mean, maybe a learning experience. I thought round one, I was definitely giving it to Anderson Silva. Brunson, he did good work in the last stanza, last 45 seconds, I want to say. And I don't know why Silva was doing this, but they were in a clinch and Silva wasn't really moving his head and he was just taking shots like bow, bow. And his head was getting bopped up by Brunson. And I thought that was really dumb. And I'm like, I mean, he's showing that at 41, his chin is still pretty good. But I don't understand why he was just taking that without countering. So again, maybe just shades of the reflexes going, and this is a 41-year-old in there. But some people might argue that round one was stolen by Anderson Silva or by Brunson with that little barrage. I mean, I think he had a leg kick in there, but it was a close round. I gave it to Anderson Silva because I think he did the better work throughout. He had like some significant right hand strikes, some counters, and Brunson was just too tentative until the last minute of it. Round two, it was another close round. Brunson had a takedown, but again, the thing that I noticed is Brunson he was continually fighting at a pace that benefits a 41-year-old. You gotta, like in boxing, you look at Joe Smith Jr. versus Bernard Hopkins, you gotta make these fighters feel their age. And I can assure you, because I'm not even 41, but I can tell you as I got older, I started noticing different things. Like even being 19 or 20 versus being 27, 28, you notice differences in your body. You work a full 8-hour day or 10-hour day when you're 21, but that same 8-hour day, maybe even less, you might be like, man, my back hurt, my feet hurt. You know what I mean? It's different. So Anderson Silva being a fighter and being 41 years old, I really just think Brunson should have established more dominance and made Anderson Silva the best way he knew how, with staying cautious, made him feel every bit of his age. But he did have a takedown. But the problem I had with Brunson's takedowns is he had one in round 2 and round 3. It was a 3-rounder, and he didn't really do anything. There was no great ground and pound where he was just massacring Anderson Silva. His best work to me was when he had him, when they were both standing up, and then he was like landing uppercuts in the clinch. And for whatever reason, Anderson Silva was just taking him and absorbing him. Round 3, another close round. Like I said, maybe I have to watch it again, but I really blame Brunson for his approach. I think he was fighting like, you ever see like Oscar De La Hoya when he fought AC Slater, Mario Lopez? Like it looked like they're friends and they're just taking it easy. Like it's a charity event. Like no one's trying to massacre. And I mean, certain things steal the judging and the crowd. Again, I don't think it was a unanimous decision. If Brunson won, I wouldn't have been mad. I think the crowd was booing or something, or chanting Brunson. So I mean, you could make an argument for him. I wouldn't be mad at that one bit. But again, my perspective is I think he should have done more to create that separation, especially with the 41-year-old. There were rounds 2 and 3, maybe there was some showmanship from Anderson Silva. He looked pretty loose, and then when you had him on the ground, you were taking him down. You have to do something, zap his energy. When I watched Anderson Silva versus Daniel Cormier being a premier wrestler, it looked like he was zapping Anderson Silva's energy when he had him on the ground. He was using his weight, he was using his strength and his wrestling background, and I didn't really see any of that type of bullying on behalf of Brunson. And I think he could have probably pulled it off. I think he had the strength to do it and whatnot. He just didn't. Like, and then they were like cordial after the fight and like, oh, good fight, hey, good fight. Like they're just chumming it up. Even there's a part where I think Silva kicked Brunson, it might have been on the cup or something, and then Anderson Silva showed a lot of sportsmanship and reached his hand out like sorry. So it's just like it was two friends fighting or something. Expected a bit more action. I don't care who would have won. I just think Brunson, being the guy who's younger, stronger, you got to do what. Look at BJ Penn's last fight. You know what I'm saying? Pantera, he iced him. And I'm not saying that it's unfortunate to see fighters go out like that, but that's the harsh realities of the sport that we watch. You know what I'm saying? And that could happen. And to all of a sudden get like gun shy because you're in there with the legend, I don't think that's the right approach either, because you shouldn't have signed a contract. These guys were ranked like number 6 and 7 or 7 and 8 in the division. So I mean, you have to get over the starstruck and fight him. You know what I mean? If you don't want to hurt him, you shouldn't sign the contract to fight him. Be like, man, I have too much respect for dude. I'm not fighting him for whatever reason. I'll take somebody else. But I mean, you guys sign on the dotted line. That's what you get paid to do. You know, it just comes with the territory. So you could make an argument for either person. Shout out to Silva just for even being able to compete at age 41. I thought he did some good things in there, but it's still not the same sharpness that we're used to from Silva. It's just like you see spots of the greatness, but he's clearly not in prime. Let me know how you guys played this fight out in your mind. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.